Hello everybody and welcome to our channel. Today we're going to talk about the antenna pattern creation interface. With the antenna pattern creation interface, users now have the ability to create pattern files without having to go in and out of tower coverage to complete the process. To access this feature, click Settings and then Antennas. In the creation interface, users can select the step value that they want to input for the azimuth and the elevation. For example, if you set the value to 1, you'll need to enter 360 comma-separated values into the azimuth field. If you set the value to 5, you'll need to input 72 values. This represents the signal reading every 5 degrees for a total of 360 degrees. Take note that the system will let you know if you've selected a step value that cannot be executed in the event that it cannot step evenly at your selected interval around 360 degrees. Users can also set whether they wish to normalize the peak reading to 0 via a checkbox. When the checkbox is active, tower coverage will shift the whole pattern up or down, so that the highest value becomes 0 dB and everything else is shown relative to that peak. Think of this like setting the tallest bar in a chart to 0, and measuring all other bars by how far below the tallest bar they are. It doesn't change the shape of your pattern, only the reference point. You'd just be setting the loudest point equal to 0. Take a look at the example here. Now you can read each angle as how many dB down from the peak. Why would you want to do this? Because it makes plots and comparisons easier. Since 0 dB is their outer ring or peak, this lets you compare different antennas without having to worry about their absolute max gain. If you leave it unchecked, the values stay as is, absolute. Your peak might be plus 12 dB, and the plus numbers won't be centered around 0. Enter the gain values by entering each one and separating it by a comma. The azimuth field contains some placeholder text by default, and it's meant to indicate how the values should be formatted when you enter them. Once you click Generate Antenna, it will check that you've entered the values correctly and validate the file. At that point, it will either give you an error notice, or it will display the result in the right side window of what the expected outcome is. From here, you can change any values you'd like, and then update the pattern by clicking the Create button again. You can repeat this step as many times as you need. Once you're satisfied with the pattern, click Save. This will bring up a modal where you can enter the name of the antenna, along with the manufacturer and the beam width. Keep in mind that the beam width does not change the outcome of the antenna, nor does it affect the propagation of a coverage when the antenna is used. It's simply a restrictor value so that the end user submission data is not checked against the coverage if the user location is outside of the beam width of that coverage. For example, if you have a 30-degree antenna and the azimuth of that coverage is set to 0 degrees, the propagation with side lobes would potentially show coverage from 335 degrees to 25 degrees, which would be a 50-degree pattern. If the customer location is at the azimuth reading of 17 degrees, tower coverage would not return this example as a viable link, since the location of that customer would appear outside the beam width filter set for that antenna pattern. It's also worth noting that this is not a finite setting. The beam width is used when creating a coverage so that when you select the given antenna, it auto-populates the beam width filter setting in the coverage creation process. It can be modified on a case-by-case basis as the antenna is used. The Reset Generator button reloads the page and functions as a refresh to prevent the user from having to navigate back to the page via the left side navigation bar. The Instructions button will take you to the feature wiki page. If you'd like to delete a pattern and start over, simply select the pattern from the list and click the Delete Antenna button. The pattern cannot be recovered once it has been deleted. If you found this content helpful, please like and subscribe. That is all I have for now, guys, but I will see you for the next one.